Good day and welcome to another week of A Week at the Plot. It's early on Wednesday morning. I've just come down to water in the greenhouse and the polytunnel. Nowhere else needs watering because we had lots of rain yesterday, which has really got all the weeds, well, everything growing, but particularly the weeds growing again. I was down here on Monday. No, when was I down? Sunday, and I was thinking, right, I have to strim. I really have to strim. If rain keeps off, I'll do it in the next couple of days. And I had a very long day at For Our Sake and the Great Green Barn on Monday. Yesterday, a lot at my desk, so I didn't get down, and then we had the rain. So at the moment, if we come over into sort of shade, you'll mostly see that there's the grass is sort of very wet, and later I've got a gastroscopy, so I won't be able to strim today. But yeah, feeling slightly deflated as I came down this morning and saw everything that needs to be done. But the good thing is that the lettuce in here, the lettuce in the poly and the lettuce in the greenhouse that I put in from the seedlings from the greenhouse last week, they're all surviving at the moment. And certainly these out here have had plenty of rain to help them on their way. And on Sunday I also covered up the perpetual kale here, perennial kale, because I didn't want birds to start pecking at it before I started doing cuttings. I think they may have done, but I didn't want it to happen sort of so that they strip the plant. So I covered it in that netting. So it looks rather ghostly there. But what we do have, oh, look at these teasels. Very prickly, very sharp, and there's sort of spikes on the stem here as well, which really are quite sharp. These, once they dry, these bristles will get really sort of crispy, and in fact this is what they used to use to tease wool in the olden days. So therefore teasel and teasing wool. Teasel and teasing wool. Can't speak this morning. The rain that we did have has had the chicory growing well. My bed of unkempt tomatoes, I've never had a bed of tomatoes so unkempt before, but they are beginning to produce, most we see here, and over here are some larger ones down there, hopefully you can see. But I think I'm going to, I mean, we all think about an Indian summer, and you know, if we have a decent summer or decent weather into October, then any fruits that come will ripen. But I think I'm going to cut most of these back and just let develop the fruit that is developing now. I mean, I can't believe it's, what is it? It's coming up to, no, it's the 8th, I think, of August. And I don't even have a tomato anywhere near being ripe. I mean, quite extraordinary. Oh, but look at the glistening of, can you catch that? Can you see the glistening on that leaf? Oh, it's rather lovely. But yeah, the plot has got away from me well and truly. I'm just going to have to accept it and hopefully have a weekend this weekend when I can really get on and do stuff. Maybe on Friday. Maybe on Friday. Life just seems to be so busy at the moment. I think if there was going to be a name for this year on this plot, it would be the year of the lettuce, because that seems to be the only thing that has done well, and even then it's been sort of in a bit of a struggle. I did say last week I was going to be sowing more lettuce seeds, which I will do this week at some point, not today. I'm just down to water this morning and to look at the work that needs to be done. Maybe that wasn't a sensible thing to do. I should have just come in blinkered, isn't it? That's what they do with horses. Blinkered and gone to the greenhouse and given it a water, and come to the poly and given it a water. But at the same time, you know, there's no point in hiding away from the work that needs to be done. You know, it's the same thing when I'm at my desk. You know, when there are tasks to do, they need to be done. And I do think I've had more success at getting everything done at my desk this year than I have getting things done down at the plot. But there we are. I'm not going to beat myself up about the state of the plot. It is what it is. I'm now working towards next year, which I've said. And it was interesting on Sunday when I was down here. You know, I did I think 3 hours down here Saturday and 3.5 hours down here on Sunday, and that was just basically tidying and cutting a few things back and potting a few things on. But when I was down here, I met a fellow plotter who we chat regularly when she's down, and I said, "Oh, you've put some of your beds to winter already?" And she said, "Yes, it's been such a year that I've decided that I'm going to cover." And she covers with a sort of tarpaulin that she's got, and she said, yeah, I'm going to cover, and that the rest of the two main growing beds that she's got a half plot, the rest of the two main growing beds that she's got, she thinks they'll be covered this weekend. And when I look around, I'm noticing there are a few people who are putting cardboard over their beds already. And yeah, I mean, I totally understand the cardboard thing, but as I've said, I also find that if you put cardboard down, for me, if I put cardboard down without putting compost on top, it just becomes a home for slugs. And it does keep the weeds off, the weed seeds and all of that off, there's no doubt about it. But I do wonder whether it then harbours more slugs and snails depending upon your soil. And someone was saying online the other day, I'm not sure who it was, but the better the soil, the lighter the soil, the more issues you have with slugs and cardboard. And the heavier the soil and the more clay the soil, the issue with slugs is reduced under cardboard. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I thought it was something interesting to maybe read up on over the winter months. But yeah, there's certainly stuff to be done down here. Strimming will no doubt lift my mood a little bit, so as soon as it's dry and I can get down here and do that, I will do that. And then just carrying on tidying. I also feel as though at the moment that I'm flipping a bit into dad life, that the older I get, the more interest I'm getting in growing flowers and having perennial beds. So I think that's something that I'll talk about at a future point. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I've had my breakfast, because I had to have my breakfast early. I've had my cup of tea before 7 and my breakfast before 7. So I've got sipping water time until my gastroscopy later on this afternoon. So I'm going to get back to my desk and carry on doing some desk work and succeeding at what I'm doing at my desk. And I'll catch up with you later in the week, where I hope I will be strimming or have strimmed. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. It's Friday afternoon and I've just got to the plot to do some watering and found this frame in front of the open doors of the greenhouse, and it's from a plot holder who has those beetroot there and there up there, and basically it's to increase airflow and cool down the greenhouse, which I think is a great idea, because even though we're getting cold nights, it's still pretty warm. And just looking at our lettuce, these are the lettuce that I pricked out last week. There's 5 in there. They're doing okay. They're doing okay. And then if we come over here, you can hopefully see there's 3 lettuce there. This one I can see has been a bit nibbled, and then there's 2 lettuce remaining over there, so one of those has definitely been got and another one has been partly nibbled. So I think it was sensible, falling over, sensible to split up rather than planting them all in one place. And then if we go into the greenhouse, no, into the polytunnel, you can see that these 5 have grown rather well. There's a judicious sprinkling of slug pellets around them to protect them. These that have all gone to seed or are going to seed will just now be going for chickens, 2 plots away, so 2 will go tomorrow and 2 will go on Sunday. I usually catch up with that person that has the chickens at the weekend in the morning, so that's what I'm hoping will happen. And then Susie Spearing was mentioning about sort of germination of cooler crops like lettuce and whether the greenhouse was the right place for them. And yeah, certainly for our rocket, they've suffered, but she said she was amazed we had any germination in a hot greenhouse. And you know, during the day it is hot and at night it's pretty cool, but I think I'm going to do some, well, I am going to do another sowing of lettuce. Here we have outrageous, and over here we have Marvel of 4 Seasons, and I have to say they both look exactly the same. I'm wondering whether the outrageous has sort of died off now because it's quite old seed, and whether a Marvel of 4 Seasons seed jumped over to this side. I don't know. And then at the back we've got endive at the back here, the curly one, and we've got chicory at the front here. I've moved them into the poly as this is definitely a little bit cooler, but I'm definitely going to have to do another sowing of rocket. It was, I think, far too hot in the greenhouse. Hey ho. I think this is going to need quite a lot of tidying up. Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of leaves in there. I'm going to have to do that at some point. I do know we've got frogs in there as well, so they keep on sort of popping their head out every now and again. But I think that does need a good clear out, that pond. Maybe not quite yet. Let's move that out the way. I was very fortunate when I came in to be given a cucumber. Look at that. That's like gold dust for me this year. I'm very, very grateful to have a homegrown cucumber or an allotment grown cucumber, even if it's not mine. Isn't that a gorgeous thing? A thing of beauty. Oh, wow, wow. Very, very, very happy to have that. Yum, yum, yum. I can't find my lettuce seed. I can't find the lettuce seed that I sowed, or the rocket. I looked in my box when I was at home and I couldn't find it there. And I thought, well, it must be down at the plot, which would be very unusual for me to leave something in a hot shed rather than taking it home and putting it back in the Tupperware in the fridge, the airtight container in the fridge. Came down here, cannot see them anywhere. So because of that, because I thought, what happens? Oh, there's a balloon. There's a balloon in the air. You know, they always have, you know, I always think, where did that balloon come from? You know, who treasured that before it was released, and did it release accidentally? Was it released on purpose, in which case it shouldn't have been? And yeah, I sort of make up a little story in my head about who had the balloon and how it got lost and how it's in the air and where it's going to go. Isn't that ridiculous? Oh, oh dearie me. Honestly. And there's me. I think I'm a realist, you know. Yeah, I think of myself as a realist, and my mind wanders as soon as I see a balloon floating in the sky. Madness. Anyway. Don't know why it's madness. It just feels a bit mad. Right. Yes. So because I thought, well, what happens if I get down there and I can't find the lettuce seed? I brought some lettuce seed down. I brought some of our own save seed lettuce down, which isn't the same seed lettuce as we sowed a few weeks ago. And I bought some Gloire Dauphine, which is a French lettuce that was given to me by one of our French plot holders here. And Lobjoits Green, which is one that I know other people have grown as well. So I'm just going to sow those into a half size, like we've just seen, a half size tray. I'll do a third one, a third another, and a third, the third one, obviously, a third each. And I will do them very thinly. I'll only do maybe 10 seeds in each. I think these are getting pretty old now. So by, well, Lobjoits Green, so by June 2020. The Gloire Dauphine are packed February 2020. And these, I didn't put the year on. Look at that, is that stupid? I think they're maybe about 3 or 4 years old. They have been in the fridge most of their life. I mean, the vast majority of their life as a seed. So I'm hoping that they will germinate. And I will be doing them, as Susie said, I will be doing them in the poly, because in the poly that door is always open. It's always cooler. There's always a breeze going in. It's got the shade of the buddleia next to it. So yeah, fingers crossed that will be, we'll have a little bit better germination in there. But I can't believe I've lost seed. I always say it's so precious. How can I have lost seed? I don't know. I'll have to see if it's at home. Yeah, maybe I put it into the top pocket of one of my shirts. In that case, it's most probably gone in the wash. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today, and I will see you over the weekend. You've seen me sow lettuce before, very thinly on top of compost that's been tamped down so that there's a surface, a flat surface. Little bit of sprinkling of compost on top, and then tamp down again to make sure that the seed is in good contact above and below with the compost, and then a good watering. That's what I'm going to do, and I'll see you again over the weekend. Bye. And I might see where that balloon's going. See you soon. Bye. Good day. I'm going to be taking cuttings from here today. So this is a perpetual kale that I stuck in when it broke off from a plot neighbour's plant. It must have been in here about maybe 4 months. It's obviously rooted, you can see. And in here are lots of individual cuttings. I'm just literally going to take them off the branch like that. And then this is going to go into a pot and we'll just snip these back a bit. So I'm going to take 4, just taking them off the stem. 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 there. That'll do for the time being. And there's pigeons are around, covering it back up. So I have a 2-litre pot here full of compost. I'm just going to press it down lightly, not really firmly, just lightly. And then one of our cuttings here, I'm going to leave it whole for the moment, taking these leaves off at the bottom. Our rooting powder here, that goes in there. Hole halfway down the side, push that down and then firm in. Let's do this one. A few leaves off, in that goes. Halfway down, push it down, firm it in. We'll put this one at the back. Down it goes, firm it in. Again, excess leaves off the base there, dipping in, little hole, halfway down, in it goes, firm it in. So hopefully you can see that we've got those 4 cuttings in there, and all I'm going to do now is just top it up and then firm it as well. Four cuttings of our perpetual kale as it was given to me. I'm not sure that this is the one that I gave to that fellow plotter. I'm going to have to, we'll see how it grows. We'll see how it grows. Anyway, there we are. Hopefully these 4 will root in exactly the same way as the one that I've just picked these from did. Here I've got 2 figs. This one I bought from Lidl maybe about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. It was in this size pot and I potted it up pretty swiftly into this, which is a 2-litre pot, just like we've done with the cuttings. This one here, which is looking really healthy, is from the gate sale. It was actually, the cutting was actually taken by one of our plot holders here, who was an arborist and worked at Kew for decades and decades. He's retired now. Really good plantsman, and he put this up for sale. What was it? Look at that, £4. I think that one was £4 as well, but this one is sort of definitely looking better. Little stick there, and if let me just push it a little bit to get it out. Yeah, look at the root system on that. And that really does want potting on now. And I'm going to pot it on into a 2-litre pot, just like that one. Just going to take some of these, just pull some of these out, tease them, not verbally. That sort of has loosen them a little. Let me put that there. Let me put my gloves on. Fill up the pot. So the pot is sort of 4/5 full. I'm just going to make a well and test that. That needs to be deeper, and pull that out. So I want to plant this at the same height, same level of soil before. That's better, that's sitting more comfortably. Press it down to make sure that the air underneath, you have no air underneath. And when you're doing this, get your fingers down there at the sides. You want the soil firm. Try and keep it centered if you can. I think mine's gone a little bit off. That's mostly because I was holding it at a funny angle. There. Once I've watered that, I think it will be the same level as it was before. Just going to stick that in there. I know it's a fig, but so that I know that's from one of our plot holders. What variety are these? I've got absolutely no idea whatsoever. I would have thought brown fig, most likely, but we will see in a few years' time. I'm really watching my feet around this area of the plot where there's lots of ragwort. You can see a cinnabar moth caterpillar there, another one there. They're both slowly making their way to hopefully find somewhere to pupate over the winter and come out as the wonderful red cinnabar moth next year. It's quite cool here at the moment, but they'll get going when it gets a little bit warmer. I think I showed you these chicory and endive yesterday, and I did my sowing of Gloire Dauphine, of Lobjoits Green, and our own save seed. And the rocket was looking so weedy that I've decided to sow again. So I've sown rocket here, and I've sown Marvel of Four Seasons here as well, because I just thought in case some of this seed doesn't come up, which I think is likely, hopefully this one will. And in this tray was the seedlings of lettuce, the two little plants, and as you can see, two of these, there were four yesterday, two have gone and been replanted with the two seedlings, which I have to say aren't too far off the size of the others. Judicious sprinkling again of organic slug pellets, and we will be crossing our fingers. Even though it's still quite grey on this Saturday morning, it's pretty humid and quite warm. The sun is trying to break through the cloud, and it looks as though, or what is forecast for Sunday and Monday, and potentially slightly less on Tuesday, is some really hot weather coming in. So we will see what happens. I will be down here tomorrow morning early hours to do some strimming, and the rest of my hours down here today, there's the sun trying to break through, is going to be checking on my pot, see if there's anything else that needs potting up into a larger size pot like that fig did, watering, weeding, clearing, things going into one or other of the compost bins that we've got. I've also got these tomatoes, which are cuttings that we took 4 or 5 weeks ago, I think, and I'm going to put them into the poly. nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I'm going to put them in here and we will see. If we have a late summer, if the summer weather continues and it elongates, even though the nights are drawing in, maybe we might get some. And who knows, maybe some of these are cherry varieties. I have no idea. Anyway, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Right, I am going to leave it there for this week's A Week at the Plot. If you've got any questions, any comments, please leave them down below. As usual, I think this week has been quite eclectic, and I hope that doing these weekly episodes of A Week at the Plot with the individual day segments, I hope that does show you that there is something to do on the plot every single week, and it's good to continue doing it. However, even when you continue doing it, your plot can look a bit of a mess like mine does at the moment. Anywho, never mind. Have a good coming week. I hope you've had a good week just gone, and whatever is happening in your garden, your growing space, or your allotment, I hope you're getting some enjoyment from it. See you very soon. Bye. Happy growing.